The name Galaxy Note 7 definitely carries with it some well-earned notoriety, given that those phones were literally exploding. And now the investigation into the doomed Note 7 line has finally been concluded, and Samsung have managed to figure out what exactly went wrong to the point where a phone was causing explosions. And according to Samsung's findings, there were two things wrong with the battery of the Note 7. Now, the first battery had a design flaw which could cause a short circuit. Now, this resulted in the global scale recall that you'll all remember. Now, of course, we all know that following the recall, explosions and fires continued to happen, but at the time they did replace this smartphone units with different cells. However, as I just said, the problem continued to persist, and explosions and fires still happened, and again it was an issue with the battery the second time around. This time a welding defect, and the fact that some of the cells were missing insulation tape. Now, the head of mobile for Samsung spoke in an interview with Recode, and he said, quote, "It was a very painful period, but in a couple of months we learned a lot. I wish that this serves as an opportunity to improve safety of lithium ion not only for Samsung, but for the entire industry." Now let's talk a little bit more about the issues within the battery. On the screen now you'll see some helpful slides provided by Samsung on the actual battery structure of the lithium ion battery used. As you can see, it's got several different layers, as it were. And you can kind of see where the issues began between the layers based upon the explanation that you can see on the screen. And of course, this goes for the second load of batteries as well. Some pretty awful luck, what have you, going on there for two sets of batteries to result in explosions. Not exactly brilliant, let's just say that. And of course, after they continued to have problems after the global scale recall and battery B was having the issues that were previously shown in the slide, they obviously just decided that's it for the Note 7, we can't do that again. And if those problems hadn't occurred, then of course the Note 7 would still be on the market, but 2 times is definitely too many. I mean, I would argue that 1 is too many for a phone exploding and setting on fire, but 2 is even worse, I'm sure we could agree. Now, while it's good that we finally know what exactly went wrong with the Note 7, it is a little bit concerning that perhaps they were cutting corners so much that this happened twice to them in the same area within the battery. Now, of course, you shouldn't cut corners really anywhere. Obviously, you have to some degree. It's just how life is, unfortunately. But the battery is probably the area that's most likely to cause problems with any device, especially one that's going to be used as much as a smartphone. There's also been allegations that the design of the device also didn't leave the battery enough breathing room, which of course would lead to overheating, which then maybe combined with the issues that Samsung have actually identified themselves would cause what we all know happened. Now, perhaps they cut these corners to actually get out the Note 7 in order to get a lead over the iPhone 7 and iPhone 7 Plus, but of course in doing so they have basically handed Apple a victory despite the controversy surrounding the removal of the headphone jack on Apple's side. So hopefully a lesson well learned, not only for Samsung but for the industry, that cutting corners is unfortunately something that does need to be done, but perhaps not to this degree, and perhaps not in the name of safety. At what cost is a thing that StarCraft 2 commentators love to say, and I think that's very appropriate here. They did manage to beat Apple, but at what cost? They basically killed what should have been their flagship device. It should have been one of the best phones of last year, but instead it was the cause of numerous disasters. So there you have it. The case of the Note 7 has been closed, but let's hope that this sort of thing doesn't happen again, shall we? Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.